This is Wake Up Wisconsin Weekend. Here's what's happening right now.
The U.S. is now just one step away from its first coronavirus vaccine. But when will things get back to normal? What health experts predict.
Plus, how you can get a COVID test from home if you can't get to a testing location.
And Wisconsin fell to the Iowa Hawkeyes yesterday despite going into the game as favorites. What went wrong for the Badgers? Later on in the show. Very good Sunday morning to you. This is a live look over downtown Wausau. It's going to be chilly out there today. In Wausau, you're also expecting a few flurries. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Jessica Porter.
And I'm Sarah Massler-Donar.
And I'm Catherine Noel. Happy Sunday, everyone. Yeah, it's a day.
All right, Catherine, thank you. 6:32 now. The United States is one step away from allowing administration of Pfizer and BioNTech's coronavirus vaccine. The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices voted yesterday to recommend it for people who are 16 years old or older. Now it's up to CDC Director Robert Redfield to accept the nomination. On Friday, the Food and Drug Administration gave emergency use authorization to that vaccine.
Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine will begin leaving a Michigan facility today. Right now, you are taking a live look inside the facility in Kalamazoo, Michigan. You can see dozens of people are there getting ready to set up and send out that vaccine. It's where that vaccine, like you mentioned, will be shipped from. It is unclear where they would be sent, but eventually it will reach Wisconsin. Today on Upfront, Adrian Pedersen has what you need to know about the COVID-19 vaccine.
All right, thanks, Adrian. We'll see you then. As much as we talk about the vaccine coming, the real question now is, when will things get back to normal for us? Well, the DHS secretary says it's hard to say. She said all of the COVID tests that have been done since the start of the pandemic, which is about 5 million, are still fewer than the number of Wisconsinites that have to be vaccinated. But people need 2 doses of the vaccine each, so that's about 11 million doses.
It really is hard to express how long it will take to vaccinate enough folks to really get to a place where we can get back to normal. I think our best guess is in the late summer, fall timeframe.
When it comes down to it, vaccinating everyone is going to take time. So all people can do now is just be patient.
The vaccine is coming as more than 4,000 people now have died in Wisconsin from COVID-19. Nearly 50,000 people have the coronavirus right now. Nearly 1,400 are in the hospital across the state.
Some people are missing out on COVID tests because they are unable to get to testing locations. But this morning, Kent Wainscott reports that a Milwaukee company may have come up with a solution.
That was Kent Wainscott reporting for us there. Kent, thank you. Bayfield County is extending its ban on public gatherings and not allowing spectators at sporting events as cases there have doubled in just the last month. In the following days, following Thanksgiving, a total of 35 new positive cases have been reported, bringing their total to 760 cases since the start of the pandemic. As the cases increase, the city's mayor is hoping the restrictions will help.
As we're seeing a spike in COVID cases across the county and across the state and across the country, it just makes sense to ask everyone to be a little more vigilant, to be a little more careful, and to watch out for other people, their family and their friends.
The public gathering extension starts tomorrow and will last through January 3rd.
Well, you might have had trouble finding disinfecting wipes in stores, and you might have trouble for about 6 more months. The pandemic has put them in high demand. Clorox Chief Operating Officer says its company is producing more wipes than ever and won't catch up with the need until the middle of 2021. This is the 3rd time Clorox has pushed back easing the nationwide wipe shortage.
Time now is just about 6:37. After nearly a year of work, members of the governor's task force on climate change have released their report. The report includes 55 solutions to climate issues in Wisconsin that lay out a foundation for the state to adapt to a changing climate. The task force held public hearings to get a sense of what challenges climate change has created for farmers and what can be done to curb those effects.
Farmers have a really important role to play as we move forward, because Wisconsin is an agricultural state. It's at the heart of what we are.
One of the goals of this report is to be a roadmap for lawmakers who can use the report to better the environment and account on them going forward.
Wisconsin is getting $60,000 in federal grant money to restore the Forward and Colonel Hans Christian Haig statues. Both were damaged during unrest downtown in Madison earlier this year. The grants are from the National Endowment for the Humanities and the National Endowment for the Arts. The statues are anticipated to be reinstalled next summer.
6:38 right now. Despite the rise of COVID-19 cases in Chippewa County, Chippewa Falls elementary schools will allow students back in the buildings in early January. Students will meet in person 4 days a week and do their homework on their own on Fridays, which will allow teachers to catch up on additional planning at the end of the week. County data shows COVID-19 cases among elementary age students is much lower than older age groups, which the district superintendent says was key in making the decision. One teacher says she's excited.
Just to have them here in the place where they know they learn best and we know that they learn best is good.
Students start classes January 4th.
Some students at Menominee High School are getting ready to head back to class tomorrow, and others are preparing to strike. The group Menominee Student Union is planning a strike because they say the administration hasn't done enough to keep teachers and students safe from COVID. The school closed about a month ago because of COVID infections. One of the student organizers says some just don't feel safe yet, so their plan is to stay home.
I feel like a lot more people, many, would have been much happier if the decision was made to stay online until the end of break. Because right now we're going back for a week and 2 days.
In a statement, the principal of the high school says the administration is aware of the protests and recognizes this challenging time. They also respect the opinions and thoughts of their students.
This week, graduates from UW-Eau Claire will be recognized in an online ceremony. Between both the fall and the spring graduates, 21 students were eligible to graduate, but only about 850 students have signed up for the virtual walk across the stage.
You know, the huge majority of that class of students is moving on with their life. They're working, some have returned to school and working on additional degrees, so we know that, you know, they're busy.
Typically, the majority of graduates in a class participate in traditional commencements after finals week, and the university hopes to return to that format in 2021.
UW-Madison has announced another round of furloughs for staff. According to UW, this is because the struggle with lost revenues and increased expenses has been difficult during the pandemic. The furloughs will affect most employees. They begin January 1st and will end June 30th. However, UW-Madison will stick with its plan to provide a 2% wage increase to employees under the 2019 through 2021 plan.
The Badgers struggled against the Hawkeyes during yesterday's game. We've got you covered on just what went wrong.
Plus, there are stunning new images from NASA this morning that show us the wonders of space. It's 6:41. You're watching Wake Up Wisconsin Weekend. The weather for your local area is next.
I love weather.